Hello everyone, my name is Ashish and you're watching another web guy YouTube channel, and today we are going to talk about responsive web design. So without wasting any time, let's get started. If you have not yet subscribed to our channel, please hit the subscribe button and also the notification bell icon so that you don't miss any of our videos. Web pages are viewed on many different devices like desktops, tablets and phones. Your web page should look good and should be easy to use regardless of the device. So when you use the HTML and CSS in an efficient manner such that your web page looks good on each and every device, it is called responsive web design. You can see on the screen how the website changes for different screen sizes. So to create responsive web designs, you need to know two important things. The first is the CSS units. Till now, we have only used pixels as our unit for expressing length of width, margin, padding, font size, etc. But CSS has got several different units for expressing a length. There are two types of length units, absolute lengths and relative lengths. The absolute length units are fixed and they appear exactly of the size of which they are specified. The examples of absolute length are centimeters, millimeters, inches, pixel, points or picas. You should not use absolute length units if your web page is to be viewed on different screen sizes. It can be used only if you are completely sure about the output medium. Next, we have the relative lengths. Relative length units specify a length relative to another length property. These units scales better between different rendering mediums. Let's see them one by one. Here, as you can see, I have created a span element nested inside a P element. Now let's go on to our CSS. The first unit is M. So let's give our P element a font size of 16 pixels and the span element a size of 2M. So 2M means 2 times the size of the current font. Since the font size of the paragraph element is 16 pixels, hence the font size of the span element is 2M, that is 32 pixels. Next we have the rem unit. Rem is relative to the font size of the root element. To demonstrate the rem unit, let's give our root a font size of 20 pixels. So now if we set the font size of our paragraph element as 2rem, then it will be twice of 20 pixels, that is 40 pixels. Similarly, we can also specify the font size of the span element. Next, we have the VW unit. VW is relative to 1% of the width of the viewport. Viewport is the browser window size. So suppose if the viewport is 100 cm wide, 1 VW will be 1 cm. If we set the length of any HTML element in viewport width, it will change as we resize the browser. Here you can see the change in the font size of the paragraph element as I am changing the width of the browser. Similar to VW, we also have VH, which is viewport height. VH is relative to 1% of the height of the viewport. So if the length of any element is set in viewport height, then it will change as we resize the height of the browser. You can see how the font size of the paragraph element changes as I am resizing the browser. Next, we have the percentage unit. The percentage unit is relative to the parent element. So suppose the paragraph element has a font size of 20 pixels and we set the font size of the span element to 50%, then it will be 10 pixels. This was all about CSS units. Now to practically create responsive web design, you need to know what is media queries. Media query is a CSS technique through which we can define different CSS styles for different screen sizes. To define a media query for a screen, we write @media, only screen and the condition in the bracket. For example, let's set the font size of the paragraph element to 80 pixels. Now let's define a media query with max width 768 pixels and set the font size of the paragraph element to 40 pixels. Now you can see as I resize my browser, when the browser width is less than 768 pixels, the font size automatically goes to 40 pixels. This 768 pixel is called a breakpoint. Breakpoint are the points where the web page changes its design. You can add as many breakpoints as you want. To add another breakpoint, just define the media query again with that breakpoint. You can see now our web page has got two breakpoints. So when the screen size is less than 600 pixels, then the font size is 20 pixels. From 600 to 768 pixels, it has a font size of 40 pixels, and beyond 768 pixels, it has a font size of 80 pixels. There are hundreds of screens and devices with different heights and width, so it's very hard to create an exact breakpoint for each device. So as a standard, we have these 5 breakpoints. Now always remember that you should design your web pages using the mobile first approach. Mobile first means designing for mobile before designing for desktop or any other device. This will make the page display faster on smaller devices. So instead of changing styles when the width gets smaller than 768 pixel, we should change the design when the width gets larger than 768 pixel. This will make our design mobile first. To do this, we'll change the condition to min width. Now the font size is 40 pixels by default, but when the screen size is more than 768 pixels, it changes to 80 pixels. That was all about responsive web design. If you want a further reading on the media queries, please follow the link in the description below. Thank you for watching the video. Please hit the like button if you learned something. If you are new here, consider subscribing. See you in the next video. Till then, take care. Bye bye.